Robert Silverberg has won every major award that science fiction has to offer. George R. Martin said about him, "When Silverberg is at the top of his form, no one is better." Ursula K. Le Guin called him probably the most intelligent science fiction writer in America. And Isaac Asimov wrote, "Where Silverberg goes today, science fiction will follow tomorrow." The value of Silverberg, in my opinion, is threefold. Number one, his prose is simply extraordinary. You can easily tell that he has a talent for writing, a talent for storytelling. There's a flow to his writing that's truly amazing. Secondly, you can tell he's very intelligent, he's very well read. He has a very broad understanding of time and space and civilization, and he's very perceptive of human nature. And it really shows in his work, and I think to me it adds a lot of gravitas and depth to his work that you really don't find in much science fiction writing. And third is his spectacular imagination when he's writing about like future times, future settings, future people and places, and the ideas that he comes up with. It blows me away. In the late 60s and early 70s, he went through this kind of peak creative period where he produced a tremendous amount of work of very high quality. And I'll share some of those works with you here now, some of my favorite Silverberg works that represent him well and that I think are good places to start. And I was first introduced to Silverberg with this book, Tower of Glass. And to me, I found it very valuable in terms of the themes that it dealt with religion and a lot of social issues. That in the prose quality blew me away. I knew that right away when I started reading that book that I liked Silverberg and how he wrote, and I was very interested in reading more of his stuff. So I definitely recommend that one. And another one of his classics is Nightwings. It takes place in the far, far future. It's a dystopian post-apocalyptic novel to where the setting itself plays a major role in the book, and he won a major award for it, and it's a classic, and everyone loves Nightwings, so I recommend that one. Next is Man in the Maze. To me, this story hits on the themes of alienation and of human contact and human community. It takes place in the future, and I won't go into it that much. But in later editions of that work, Neil Gaiman wrote an introduction to it. It's another one of Silverberg's classics. Another one is Time of Changes. This is one of my top favorite Silverberg books. It tells a story of this person who's trying to break free from the restrictions of their social setting and the society, and his struggle with that, and again it has that flow to it, like the Silverbergian flow that makes it a pleasure to read, and it's very, very interesting. At least I thought so. And next one is the Book of Skulls, and what's intriguing about this one to me is it's told from 4 different points of view. It tells a story of 4 friends in college who are on their way to look for a book that supposedly promises immortality, and he tells a story from each of their points of view, and it's a modern setting, and what they find in this weird kind of cult that they become a part of, and and it is more of a thriller horror story. It's not really science fiction at all. And then my favorite is Dying Inside. It's one of his novels that is largely regarded as a classic, and some people say is his masterpiece. It's a story of a telepath who's slowly losing his powers, so it's a character study, and he goes into a lot of detail about him and his backstory. And to me, the main takeaway was it's a story about communication, about him having to learn how to communicate like the rest of us, not having that special power to really know someone deeply, but to have to go through the normal kind of clumsy ways of trying to get to know other people like we have to do, and expressing ourselves. And he really hits on some great themes. Here are some other versions of it that I have. And I recommend this one very, very highly. It's amazing work. And as far as his short works go, they've been collected in a number of volumes. The one I have is called Phases of the Moon. It's 6 decades of masterpieces by the SFWA Grandmaster, and it has most of his best short works in it. The ones I recommend starting out with are Passengers. It's from 1969, and it's one that he won a lot of awards for. It's told in first-person present point of view, which is hard to do well, but he pulls it off. And the other one is Schwartz Between the Galaxies, and I think that one also serves as a good way to be introduced to Silverberg and what kinds of stories that he has to offer. One other thing, I wrote Silverberg a letter back in 2011, and just telling him how much I appreciated and enjoyed his work, and he wrote me back, and I wasn't expecting that. Just goes to show that he really is a stand-up dude, and he's still alive. He's about to turn, I think, 85. He lives out in California. If you're interested, check him out. A lot of his work is available now in electronic format, and I'll leave a link below to a promo video that his e-publisher made that's filmed at his house, and has shows his extraordinary library, and it's very interesting, so be sure to check that out too.